Michelle, we had an episode a couple of weeks ago, and I thought it was really funny because it was only during the episode I realized what we were actually talking about. And it was the decluttering one. Well, you are making this big life change. And what we really were talking about was this huge transition in your life. And so I want to delve a little deeper into it.
Okay. We've been delving deep. I've been delving deep into feelings and emotions.
Because
So,
it's like transitions within transitions. So, but it starts with your stuff.
yeah, all my stuff. And we were talking a little bit before this episode, the emotions that have bubbled up from releasing some of these memories. Because that's what they are. Some of these items are memories. And I've done pretty good. Again, I'm blessed because my two boys want some of these pieces that have meant so much to me. So in that way, I take that blessing because I know when I go to their homes, those pieces will be there for me to see. But there are other pieces that they don't want. And so let's discuss a vase that I have downstairs. It's one of those big floor vases. And I have like sticks coming out of it, a decoration. And it's still in its place. It's always been in all the chaos of my house. It's still there. I haven't moved it. I haven't gotten rid of it. I haven't put it up for sale. My children don't want it. But this vase has been in my grandmother's home, and then in my mom's home, and then in my home. And as you can tell, there's this emotional piece to it. But
Wait, why the emotion? Is it the
because
memory? What's what?
yes,
Why are we
it's
holding on to this? Why?
well,
Like, I
that's
don't
that.
know. That's why I'm asking,
Yeah,
because we do. So
it's like
you're emotional about a piece. Is it because of the memories it brings? Is it?
it just was always like, to me, when I look at that, it's a comfort. I think of my grandmother.
Mm.
And that piece does not represent my grandmother. It's just something that was in her home. I have so many memories of my grandmother. I have beautiful pictures of her that I have displayed and all of it. But it's just like one more piece that I have to let go of. In all of this last 3 months of letting go stuff, that it just gets sometimes daunting that I just want to stop.
What if you didn't let go of it?
Yeah, I could take it with me. I can. I can. And I think I haven't made that decision yet. I can take it with me. I can't always put it in my office where I'm moving to down in Florida. And it can still be part of my home. And maybe that's the calling that it is. Maybe it's the universe or whatever telling me not to, because I just can't physically. When I go to pick it up, I just get this overwhelming feeling of not sadness. It's just the joys that this has always been around. Like been a piece that's always been there. And it is just a vase. But that's how minute it's getting to in this home of stuff that I have left too. So it's like you keep, like we always talk about, or I always talk about, we're peeling this onion. Well, think about peeling an onion of stuff. Like you could easily look around your room and say, oh, that can go, that can go, that can go. And then you got to go a second time. Well, yeah, I probably can get rid of that. Yeah. And then you go a third time, and now you're like, how much have I really used that? Why am I holding on to this? And then you go even, now you're peeling down. Now you're in the middle. Now you're in that part of the onion that's making you cry. All of that, because it just is like, yeah. And I'm living in chaos. So if you walk into certain rooms, and I remember the episode on Tidy Dads that he talked about the joy, what you're keeping brings you joy. And I look at certain boxes, and these are boxes that are going up to the cottage. And there is joy in those boxes. And these are the boxes that are being shipped to Florida, and there is joy. And then I look at the boxes that and the furniture I have piled up that's going to my children, and there is joy. There is. But now I'm even down into a little minute, because now we're almost down to like the dumpster is outside and like we're down to that aspect of it where there's nothing in my cabinets. We'll probably have to eat out for the next 10 days, which I despise. You know, it's all of that part. So I think it's just a bunch of feelings.
But what's interesting is, like, you made a comment that it's just a vase. I mean, ultimately, everything is just a fill in the blank, right? But I think what's important is to honor what that represents,
Yeah.
to let it have the life that it has within you, even though it's just a vase.
Yeah. It's, and I've never looked to see, it has more sentimental value than any other type of value. And I could, you know, care less. I think, like I said, some of the pieces that I'm giving to my children have that exact same value as that base. And that part, I feel very blessed that my children are taking the pieces, and I don't have to have this mourning per piece, because one of them is a table that I've had my childhood holidays on that came to me, that I had my holidays on when I was living in Connecticut and all my kids sat around. And the fact to give that one away would have been like, I don't know what I would have done. So my oldest son is like, no, Mom, I want that. I want that in my living room to open up and have my holidays around. And I'm like, yes, okay, I can release that one.
So it goes back to the joy you felt with this stuff, right? It's
Yes.
Our memories are like your grandma, probably that maybe that's security, that's safe, that's fun,
Yeah.
whatever. Because I got a lot of stuff.
It's
I
like,
got a lot of stuff from past people, and I don't
yeah,
want to do that to my kids.
no, and it is, I mean, there's part of it that's lethargic. You know, I released pieces of clothing like, why am I holding on to this? You know, that infamous, oh, someday. Well, if someday comes, you know what? There's stores all over the place, and I can buy another, you know, pair of flats.
But objects that belong to generations, and that's what we're talking about here, I think has a different representation. I mean, it's crazy. I have this incomplete set of dishes that my sister had bought me for my wedding present. It was a complete set when she gave it to me, but I now have an incomplete set of these dishes. And in the house that I lived in before here, there was this cabinet that was attached to the wall. And so I had all my dishes on this cabinet. I had my grandmother's things on there, like whatever. And I'm the kind of person that I don't tend to put things away until a special occasion. Like, I will just use things. So this stuff was all sitting on a wall, and one night in the middle of the night, we just heard this incredible crash. And we thought like something had come through our front window or something. We went downstairs, and that cabinet had fallen off the wall, and virtually everything was smashed. So I have like 3 or 4 dishes and like a couple of mugs, but I don't want to throw them out.
Right.
I don't. It's like, oh my God, this was like such a special gift that she gave me. And it was something I really wanted. You can't get them anymore. Like that whole pattern, whatever, is completely, no longer being manufactured. And I can't do it. I can't just go, you know what am I holding on? I never use them. That's the other thing. I never use these plates. Like, they have now gone into this special drawer where it's like, okay, only really special things are going to live in here, and they are never going to be touched, because I don't want anything to happen to them. Seriously, that's exactly what my thought process is. Every once in a while, I pull out this drawer and I go through it with fond memories and everything, and look at the stuff that's in there, but then it all goes back into that drawer. Now, that's crazy, I know, but that's
And that's a
exactly
whole
what I
nother
do.
thing. Is that right to do with it? So if you use it, it might get chipped, it might, like, whatever. And I understand you don't want to, but would you find yourself having more joy in using it, even if it's not every day? Maybe it's, I don't know, you take a mug out every once in a while and have a special cup of tea or coffee in it, and then put it back. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. It's almost like this is all I have left. I can't touch
yeah,
it. I can't touch it. It's like, it's kind of crazy.
yeah.
You know,
And
I
it's,
all the stuff that's in that drawer is really kind of crazy, but it all has a story associated with it.
yes, and just like my vase does, and just like
Yeah.
my table does, and everything. And but then I sat here and just, like, really poured over, is my grandmother in that vase? And she's not. There's memories. There's that memory piece of it. And I think sometimes we hold on to things because we don't want our memory to fade from that.
Right.
Exactly. Yes.
And that's scary, is that memory fading. And I don't know if when the time comes and my children need to empty things out,
Yeah.
they'll look at that vase like, why did she ever hold on to that? And out it goes.
But that's okay, because then, like, it has fulfilled its place in your life, just like my drawer of things, it fulfills my place in life. It means nothing to my kid. Like, she wasn't even around when that crash happened. So, like, those dishes mean nothing to her, and she probably will oust them, and that's totally fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
But right now, I can't get rid of them. It's like,
Yep.
and even though I could fill that drawer with something else,
Yep.
more practical, something I would use on a regular basis, I'm like, no, I just can't get rid of these dishes. And it's all dishes that's in there, which is silly, but they're all dishes.
But that's,
Don't you think, Michelle, though, also you're going through a humongous
Yes,
transition,
yes.
and maybe sometimes we don't have, as Tracy said earlier, let go. Maybe we need to hold on to a couple of things just to help us through our transition or through our
Yes.
next phase, or whatever we're calling everything we do nowadays, right? Like these changes and all that. Maybe this is a little bit of a security blanket that helps you when you're in your new place, look over and go, oh yeah, things have changed, but things have stayed the same too.
Exactly. That's so important, Tracy.
yeah, that's a really, I'm loving this conversation, because in our last episode, we talked about it. I know you guys saw my emotions. I know you saw them in the beginning here, but having these types of conversations helps me process it a little bit more. Because sometimes I think, as a person, individually going through this, we think we're alone, and we think we're crazy, like, just get rid of it, like, just throw it out. Where there isn't no just throw it out. Like,
Or why are you getting so emotional about things? Just you need to do this, just get on with it. Yeah.
Right. I'm looking over, and I have a statue. It's that's a religious statue, but my office door doesn't stay open when I open it. And I put that there forever. It's been there the whole time I've been here. Now, I've had other religious statues that I have passed on, given them to organizations or whatever that came from people. But that one will be coming with me, and it will hold another door open, because my son gave me that.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Like, that comes with me. Like,
Yeah.
there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That comes with me. I have a Bible that comes with me. because I took it from my dad's home when he passed. And when I open it, there's his handwriting in it. I don't go through the Bible, but his handwriting's there. And when I'm lost from him, that's what I open to see. So you guys are wonderful. That's why I love you ladies so much. My vase is coming with me.
Yay.
Well, and also saying how like this is being brave and this is like this is hard. And as I sit here in my comfy house that I'm not going anywhere in, you know, I'm in a totally different place. You're going through this big transition, and you know, we have to acknowledge that that stuff is hard at any age, making big changes.
Yes.
Like you'll be in a totally new state where you will be.
Yes. Like we're talking like, like
it's a big impact. And like I said, I didn't get it until halfway during the last episode we did on this. And then I went, wow, like that, you know, that's huge.
Yeah. It's just imagine someone says, we're giving you a home, but it's completely furnished and you can't bring anything with you. Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. I mean, I'd be sneaking stuff.
Yeah. And I do have boxes of stuff downstairs. Do not get me wrong. My favorite pots and pans, like I have a set of Dutch ovens I love cooking with. Those are going. Pete's like, we're going to Florida. They're coming with me. That's how I make my sauce. I make my stews. No, they're coming with me. Like that's an if it. My KitchenAid is coming with me. Those things are coming with me. I am bringing stuff with me, but we are down to find new little like, there's in my house is either it's on the floor or it's in boxes. And after next week, I'm sleeping with my mattress on the floor because the bedroom set is going to Florida. And
So when you first made this decision, did any of this cross your mind? So you're here now, but when you made that decision, you said, I'm going to get rid of some stuff and we're just, downsize and then we're going to move. And now you're in it. And looking back at Michelle, whenever this decision was made, could you give any advice to that, Michelle, and say, just really think this way or try to
good question.
Like that would make you more prepared for right now?
I don't know if I could have prepared myself more for it.
Okay.
Because it was down to, I didn't leave you. Like I was fine. I forgot all about this hand quilt because it was put away in a hope chest that I never opened. And this hand quilt was made by my grandmother for my oldest son's crib. Like, and I sat there like, how am I supposed to give this away? Like, and I came to the decision, I'm not. It's a crib blanket. So that means it's a lap blanket. It fits my lap. I'm going to Florida, the air conditioning, whatever, you always get chilled. It's a perfect lap blanket. So I don't think I realized how much sentimental stuff I had until it came down to, here's your hand quilt. Keep or remove. You know, I don't think I realized that.
Or realized how emotional it would get.
Right. Yeah. Like, I don't think both of those things.
Yeah.
So I think now that it is, and this hasn't been like, I spend my time crying all the time. Not at all. There's been times where I'm like, oh, Michelle, you really need to make sure you get a better capsule wardrobe because holy crap, you need to get rid of 3/4 of this crap. You don't wear it all. So that part's been enlightening to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Or even when it came down to cleaning out the office part, it's like you're a hoarder of paper. Like you need to. So there's been some
not as bad as me.
excellent excellent things within that aspect of things that really made me clean up, like my safe deposit box that we have in the closet, going through those things. And really, I finally got rid of everything that I took from my dad's and my stepdad's house in reference to paperwork. It's been 3.5 years. The only thing I need is their death certificates. That's really it, So those were all in boxes. So that part has been cleansing. So there is cleansing here. There is cleansing. And there is understanding that having a blank wall is absolutely okay. And having a blank table or end table is absolutely okay. It does not have to be filled with stuff.
I think when we're in the process of doing that decluttering and doing that whole thing of what do I keep, what do I get rid of, there is different levels of awareness that we are in when we go through that. Like, I think you get caught up like in something really big, like your move, Michelle. It's like you get caught up and it's like, okay, well, I got to get rid of some stuff. And you're operating sort of like at a let's just get rid of stuff, right? Like it's not whatever. And then there's all of a sudden you start picking up stuff that actually represents something, represents a piece of your life, a piece of somebody else's life, something that is really near and dear to you, that memory. And then it becomes really difficult to get rid of it. It's like, okay, I'm gonna have to put this aside for right now because I can't make that decision. I know I went through something similar when we cleaned out our garage, which I know doesn't sound like much, but when you've been a resident in the same place for like 36 years, there's a lot of crap that you accumulate, tons. And the back of our garage had been also my daughter's different moves to different places when she was going to university, and we had to clean that out. And I remember very distinctly at times coming across things and thinking to myself, I'm not in a place that I can make this decision. I just can't make this decision. I'm walking out, because that just led to that whole uncertainty of making any decision. It was like, oh, well, this means something, this, and it's like, okay, like I got to get out of here. I'm not going to make any decision. I'll just pick this up tomorrow. Now, I had the luxury of being able to do that, whereas Michelle, you're on a deadline, a timeline that all of this stuff has to be done by. So,
but I think also I have really been doing this since January.
Even still, there's a finite amount of time, whereas nobody said, the garage is going to burn down if you don't have it all cleaned out by this date. Correct. Right? It's like, I could have taken 10 years to do it.
Yes.
And you're doing it since January, so you're decision making all the time, which
constantly.
in itself
exhausting,
stressful, right? So you're continually you have this continuation of decision making. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Like, I just didn't put it into place how much when you like change is change, and there's a lot that goes with it.
It was I was cleaning out a cabinet that had all my baking supplies in it, that I'm like standing there going, I don't want to get rid of them for no other reason. I don't want to waste that money. So they're packed up going to the kids. Like, oh, I can give this to the kids. They're getting different types of flowers and different stuff. I know it sounds minute, but that's the decision making I have to. That's how it is within this decision making.
Well, how often what you feel when you a couple of months in, because I'm sure there will be just this nice breathing, feeling free,
total expansiveness, just because you don't have to be in that state. But how often have you, besides the conversations we force you into here, Michelle, how often have you sat there and thought to yourself, wow, this is really big?
I don't think it was until the last, I think it was around the beginning of April it just became very overwhelming to me because it was, like you said, Tracy G, there was always a constant movement. So Peter had gone to Florida for a couple months. He wanted to spend time with his mom. He was doing similar things to what I was doing in Florida because we are taking over his mom's home. So it still had some of her clothing in it. Now she's still alive. She's living in an assisted living facility down the road. And so she'd been in there almost a year. So now it's at the point where she doesn't need it anymore in the house. So he was kind of doing that, but he was more detached because it was his mother's things. It wasn't his stuff.
Right.
And so by the time he came back, I was totally exhausted because I constantly wanted to keep moving forward. And so every time I wasn't working in my business or training or working at the restaurant, I was cleaning out something. So it's been constant. It's just, so think about that constant, like I was always full of emotion. You know?
You get one thing done and there's another thing and another
Yes.
thing and another thing. I bet you don't even understand the underlying stress you're feeling. Like you get it up here, but you probably, I'm really interested in how you're going to feel in a couple of months.
Well, just the different job. I mean, even that, like you took on a whole new role. While you proposed that it wasn't really that new, it was a whole new role that you've now integrated into your life. More time is required of you to do that and, live up to expectations and all of that. Plus, like you said, your restaurant job, plus training for, this ultra race that you're training for. Plus, I mean, it's like, there's a lot of pluses here, And they're not pluses that can just be like, oh, well, I'll do that later. It's like, well, no, I have to get my training done today because this gets logged and sent to my coach. No, I can't not show up at the restaurant. They're expecting me for my shift. No, I can't just decide I'm not taking the dog out because she needs to go out, right? It's like,
it's all of it. But I know that today's the 5th of May. In 30 days, I'll be at the cottage and the house will be emptied. And I can sit on the deck and take my nightly pontoon rides with my dog and Pete and start that life.
Yeah.
And, doing my business and doing my jobs from up there and my trainings. But I won't be packing stuff. At that point, all decisions will have been made. It will be made by next Thursday. Everything will be in because we'll be out of here by the 1st of June, but we'll have part of the garage that we're taking the last of stuff that like personal, like the vase will be in the garage because that will go in my car. No one's able to move that but me. That will go in my car because everything that we're shipping down is being delivered to us the first week of July. So Mona's going to her trainer and Pete and I are taking our cars and we're driving down there to have everything dropped off and probably leave a mess, but that's okay. I can leave a mess knowing my stuff is safe in the house and just go on and train and this and that.
Yeah, amazing.
I know. And I am excited about the new adventure. It's not
for sure. Oh yeah. You wouldn't have made the decision if it wasn't. I
am excited about not having freaking cold weather anymore. And complaining when it gets to 40 in Florida. We're like, yay.
But what I'm hearing is you can get through it.
Yes.
Right?
You can.
You got to acknowledge the emotion.
Yes. And that's the biggest thing I've noticed and I want to talk about for a split second. If you have the emotion, feel the emotion. If you want to cry, cry. If you want to hug the item, hug the item. Whatever you want to do to have that emotion, even if it's a bit anger, then have it. But then release it and go on. And if for some reason it came down to there was no room for that base, could I let it go? Yes, because I always know I have that memory, and I have other things of my grandmother's. That's as important. And I have that. But you have to feel the emotion. You can't put on that happy face. If you feel it, and then you move on.
Great
And
advice.
that's true for all emotion,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
like the moment where you resist it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just going to keep showing up, showing up, showing up,
Yeah.
showing up. Yeah. Awesome.
Well, thank
Well,
you.
You're welcome. Good luck next Thursday. We'll be thinking of you.
Yeah.
I'll be driving me my U-Haul. I've never towed anything before, and they told me I will have no problem. Okay, we'll see. But that'll be another adventure that we'll talk about after it's
Okay.
done. But I hope this helps you guys, anybody listening. And if unpacking or decluttering or removing something from your life, you have questions about it, please put it down in the comments. We would love to explore that further for you. But don't forget to like this episode, subscribe, and hit notifications, because every Wednesday is a new episode. Until then, talk to you later.
Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you as a regular member of our community.